My cousin took my $12,000 credit card for emergencies. 2 weeks later, he posted Bahamas, baby. I just said okay. When he got home, what he found waiting in his living room left him speechless. You know, there are moments in life when the people you love most can also be the ones who hurt you the deepest, especially when they mistake your kindness for an endless resource. For me, that gut-wrenching realization hit like a brick when my own cousin, someone I'd practically raised, looked me dead in the eye and casually said, "Say goodbye to your money, bro. My name's Mateo, and I'm 31. In my family, I'm the fixer. Always have been. I'm the one who shows up with jumper cables, who actually reads the lease before anyone signs it, who can magically find a missing W-2 in a junk drawer. I crunch numbers for a living. I'm a controller at a logistics company, so everyone just assumes I have endless patience and a perfect spreadsheet for every single crisis. I grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment above my tio's bodega. My parents worked nights, and I learned early on how to make everything stretch. Rice, Wi-Fi, passwords, paychecks. I'm the oldest cousin, the first to finish college. That sounds like a badge of honor, a crown, even. But most days, it feels more like a target. If there's a family emergency, it gets routed straight to me. The cousin I used to babysit is 27 now. He calls himself LJ, but his government name is Luis Javier. He's funny, charming, and utterly allergic to a W-2. He sells sneakers, dabbles in content creation, flips used iPhones he swears are refurbished. He'll FaceTime you from the trunk of a borrowed car, 5 boxes of Yeezys in the back, a ring light clipped to his sun visor. He'll say, "Cuz, I'm 2 plays away from changing the game." He's been 2 plays away since high school. One Sunday night, at my Tio Rose's for family dinner, the usual aluminum trays of arroz con pollo, cousins yelling over Uno, my aunt's TV battling the blender. I sat in the corner, balancing my plate on my knee. I was nodding at the right times, answering my mom's questions about health insurance. Then LJ floated in, late as usual, sporting a designer tee and a chain thick enough to tow a car. He saw me and grinned, like we shared some secret joke. He didn't even bother to sit. He just leaned on the door frame, soaking in everyone's attention. "Mateo," he called out way too loud. "You still got that emergency card, right?" Heads turned. Forks paused halfway to mouths. My mother blinked slowly. I just kept eating. "Why?" I asked, my voice flat. He laughed. "Because emergencies happen." I set my plate down. "What kind of emergency are we talking about, LJ?" He raised both hands, palms out. "Relax. You know how it is. Life. Tire blows. Phone dies. Grandma falls. I'm just saying it's smart to keep family covered." My aunt chimed in without looking up from the stove. "You know he hustles, Mateo? He's trying." LJ watched my face. He loved the crowd. He loved performing. When I didn't immediately jump to his tune, he stepped closer, his voice dropping, just for me. He nodded toward my wallet on the side table, next to the house keys and the bottle opener. "Don't be dramatic, bro," he said softly, that smile never leaving his face. "It's for emergencies." That was the first trigger, and it told me exactly where the night was headed. The thing about being the fixer is that people eventually stop seeing you as a person. You become a service, a number on speed dial, a debit card with legs. There's the nice version of it. "Oh, you're just so dependable." And then there's the ugly one. "You owe us." It started small years ago. Bus fare until Friday. Then, "Can you spot me for Uber?" I left my wallet. Then, deposits for apartments he never moved into. Sneakers that were supposedly as good as cash. People in my family talk about money like it's a beach ball. It always seems to be in the air, and somehow, it's always my job to keep it from hitting the floor. The emergency card they all kept referring to was a separate credit line I'd opened after my dad's diabetes scare. A $12,000 limit. I kept it in a little metal case in my car's console. It was for actual emergencies, like the time I used it to pay for Abuela's dental work because her insurance decided a mouth was a luxury. I never told anyone the limit. Someone always tried to guess, like it was a game. 10 grand? More. I'd just shrug. You don't give a room full of people a map to a safe. After dinner, I helped my mom load leftovers into containers. LJ wandered through the kitchen, drumming his fingers on the fridge, laughing at his own texts. When he thought nobody was looking, he checked the side table where my wallet had been. He grinned when he saw it was gone, because it was safely in my pocket. We cleaned up, we hugged goodbye. I walked my mom to her car. When I came back inside for my keys, my aunt pulled me in for a whisper. "You know Luis is going through it," she said, her voice low. "He's got opportunities. He just needs a little push." "He's had 12 years of pushes," I said, my patience wearing thin. She sighed. That long, heavy sigh that tells you you're the disappointment for not being easily manipulated. "You have more than him." That line always lands like a slap. Not because it's true, but because of what it assumes. That having extra means it's open season. That success equals consent. That I'm just a pantry, open for scavenging. Later that night, I stopped at my apartment and, out of habit, placed the metal card case on the bookshelf where I keep my keys. I showered. I fell asleep on the couch with the TV judging me. At 2:11 a.m., my phone buzzed. I squinted. 3 missed calls from LJ. 1 text. "Bro, answer." I didn't. At 2:14, the buzzer rang downstairs. I ignored it. At 2:15, my phone buzzed again. A photo. My hallway. The map that screamed, "Please don't." He was outside. I opened the door. He slipped past me like he'd been invited, doing a slow lap, hands out. "Nice spot," he said. "Adult vibes." "What do you want?" I asked, my voice tight. He looked at the bookshelf like he lived there. He spotted the case. He tapped it with a finger and smiled. "Emergencies. You need to go," I said, my blood running cold. He nodded toward my window. "I got somebody waiting. Don't make this weird. We're family." I didn't move. He did. Quick. Like he was snatching a fry from my plate. He palmed the case and stepped back. He flashed the card like a magician flashes the Queen of Hearts. "Luis." My voice was flat, empty. "It's for emergencies," he repeated, already at the door. "I'll bring it back in the morning." I stepped aside. I let him leave. Not because I froze, but because I had learned something crucial about LJ. If you wrestle with him in the hallway at 2 a.m., he makes that the story. He drowns you in noise. You become the problem. If you want the truth, you let him talk. He texted me from the elevator. "You're a blessing, bro. For real." In the morning, my phone was a slot machine. Missed calls. Texts. "Bro, call me ASAP." Tiny thing came up. "You're the best." Little voice notes with the bass turned up, him laughing, promising it was temporary. Then my mother's text at 8:12 a.m. "He said you were rude last night." "That's not you." I muted the thread. I went to work. I did my job. I closed a month-end reconciliation. I drank coffee that tasted like pure regret. At lunch, I checked his Instagram. Nothing. At 5 p.m., a story popped up. He was in a mall mirror, tongue out, a parade of shopping bags behind him, new drip. Text overlay. +8 flame emojis. Then at 9:47 p.m., a boomerang, boarding passes, and a passport. "Bahamas, baby." I called him. He picked up. Airplane noise. The smile in his voice was a neon sign. "What did I say?" he sang. "We outside. You took my emergency card to buy clothes and fly out of the country," I stated, trying to keep my voice even. He chuckled. "Yo, don't be weird. I'll flip a couple pairs there. Reinvest. Double it. Bring it back. You be acting like a bank manager." "I am a bank manager," I said, even though I wasn't. Not for him. He sucked his teeth, bored. Then he said it, clear and amused, like I was a child throwing a tantrum. "Say goodbye to your money, bro." I didn't argue. I just said, "Okay." He laughed like I told a joke. "Now you getting it." The call ended. I sat in the dark, my phone face down, like it might bite me. I didn't sleep much. I made a list. I called the bank. I listened more than I spoke. I answered questions without adjectives. I froze what needed freezing. I documented everything. I filed a police report and refused to narrate. I didn't tell my mother, my aunt, or the group chat. I took screenshots, flight numbers, shoeboxes, dates, captions. I learned the final digits of the terminals where he swiped. I called the merchants. I asked for receipts shipped to the billing address. I remembered something important. In this country, ownership tracks the payer. 2 days in, my aunt called, crying. "He said you cut him off in a foreign country. He's your cousin, Mateo? He could be stranded." "He's in a resort," I said, my voice unwavering. "The app shows me palm trees." "You're cold." "I'm consistent." The family group chat tilted. My phone lit up with paragraphs. "You forgot where you come from. Money changed you. He said you promised." The chorus had verses. I put the phone on Do Not Disturb and made another list. Companies. Order numbers. Delivery addresses. One name kept repeating. His apartment on 114th, Unit 2B, a 3-story walk-up above a nail salon and a tax place that sold incense. I knew his landlord. We grew up on the same block. When I called, he sighed. The way you sigh when you smell smoke again. "Luis," he asked, his voice weary. "What now?" "Nothing for you to do," I said. "Just confirming access rules." He told me the super's name. He told me where the building cameras didn't work. He told me he was tired. The next day, a brown box with a computer monitor inside arrived at my door, addressed to me. Receipts stapled to the top. I hadn't ordered it. The merchant had flagged the card, checked the billing address, and rerouted. I caught the pattern. Some stuff shipped to him, some to me. Either way, the receipts were mine. I kept everything sealed. I stacked the boxes in my hall like bricks. The last DM he posted from the Bahamas was him in a pool with a frozen drink the color of a highlighter. 30 seconds of him splashing, then lip syncing. "If you ain't got no money, better head on home." He cut it before the curse. Classy. On day 13, he didn't post. On day 14, he did. A selfie in airport arrivals. Back to the grind. With a shrug emoji, like he might go back to a job he didn't have. I wasn't angry anymore. Anger is loud and messy. I was something else. Quiet. Clean. I picked up another brown box from my hall. I loaded my car. I drove to 114th. He got home around 3 p.m. I know because I was parked across the street, listening to a podcast I wasn't actually hearing. LJ stepped out of a lift in slides, socks, and a hoodie he didn't own 2 weeks ago. Same chain, same grin for the camera he assumed existed. He dragged his carry-on like it owed him rent. He climbed the stairs to 2B. He opened his door. He froze. I wasn't inside. I wasn't waiting in the dark with dramatic lighting. I'm not a movie villain. But something was waiting, right in the middle of his living room. A folding card table I'd borrowed from the church rec room. On it, a fat yellow envelope with his name, a little disposable camera, and a single pair of scissors. He stood there for a full 3 Mississippi. Then he said, to no one, nah. He picked up the envelope. Inside, printed receipts with my name and the last 4 digits of the card. A clean list of every purchase he'd made with dates, times, amounts, screenshots of his stories, a copy of the police report, and a letter from me, written like a manual, not a poem. LJ's voice came back online as he flipped pages. Bro, he laughed. Bro, he didn't notice me until I cleared my throat from the doorway. The super had buzzed me up when I knocked earlier, with a fresh apartment inspection slip. The super knows me. He'd seen me plunge LJ's sink when LJ forgot to tell him the drain was clogged. LJ spun around. Yo, what the hell are you doing in here? The super, I said calmly. You can't just walk into my place. He looked around like maybe his couch would back him up. His couch was gone. He saw it then, the absences assembling into a shape. The coffee table he bought on Tuesday with my card, gone. The 65-inch TV he'd financed in an unbeatable bundle, gone. The glass shelves with the neon sign that said, hustle harder, gone. On the wall where the TV had been, a small white rectangle of unpainted plaster, like a tan line. What did you do? His voice was thin, trembling. I picked up my belongings, I said. Everything on this list was purchased with my card. Receipts are in your hand. The law calls that a clue. That's stealing. He pointed at the empty square like it had a pulse. That's illegal. I put my hands in my pockets. It's replevin. I let the words sit between us like a glass of water he didn't want to drink. It means recovery of property. Also, store returns are beautiful things when you still have all the boxes. Because a certain someone likes to film unboxings. He peeled through papers faster, hunting for a loophole. Okay. No, this trip. You can't take the trip. Correct, I said. I can't take back a room you spilled blue slushy in. But the card issuer can reverse travel charges after a fraud report. You want to check your email? The hotel contacted me this morning to ask about the chargeback. They mentioned you smoked on a balcony with a no smoking sign. He was breathing faster now. You set me up. You set yourself up, I said. I just organized your decisions. He slammed the papers on the table, hard enough to make the scissors jump. We're family. That's not a spell, I said. When you say it, nothing magical happens to the math. He switched tactics like a man changing radio stations. I was going to pay you back. Great news, I said. You can. The letter on top is a demand. 30 days, itemized, minus what was returned. If you don't, we go small claims. I bring these, I tap the stack, and the video of you saying, say goodbye to your money, bro. His face twitched. You recorded me? No, I said. You posted it to 4,000 strangers. He stepped closer. He wasn't tall enough to make that a threat. He tried anyway. You came in my house. I came in your house with the super, I said. I took property I can prove I paid for, and that you had no right to purchase. The cops, who have a copy of this, told me to stay civil, so that's what we're doing. He barked a laugh that didn't land anywhere. You think you're smart? I think I'm done, I said. He flipped to the last page. The photo there wasn't of him. It was of my card, cut into clean little squares, laid out like a mosaic on the church table. A timestamp in the corner. Beneath it, one sentence. Return of physical card completed on X date at X time. L. Javier present. M. Reyes present. Super present to witness cut. He looked at the disposable camera. What's that? Proof, I said. Analog, in case you delete the cloud. He stared at the empty place where his TV had been. He looked smaller, like someone had turned him down to low power. Then the family script kicked back on. You're petty, he said. You're punishing me because you're mad I get to live. You always been like this, counting other people's blessings. You scared? I shrugged. If that makes you feel better, you can say it again. He was shaking his head before I finished. Mom's going to lose it. Probably, I said. Let her. He squinted. You think she's going to pick you over me? I'm not asking her to pick, I said. I'm telling you both. I am not your ATM. He looked back down at the table. Back at the envelope. Back at me. What if I don't pay? He tried to make it tough. It just sounded tired. Then you get served, I said. And then the conversation stops being between cousins. For a second, the smallest second, I saw the kid I used to set up with Mario Kart. The one who cried when his controller cable came loose. Then he blinked, and the armor slammed back into place. Get out of my house, he said. Gladly, I said. Oh, one more thing. I pointed to the scissors. That last strip. Cut it yourself. It'll help your brain catch up to the numbers. On my way out, the super nodded once, like a man who'd already seen all 7 seasons of this show. The hall smelled like pine sol and somebody's dinner. I felt lighter than I had since Sunday night, 2 weeks earlier. Back in my car, my phone lit up with my aunt's name. I let it ring. When she texted, "What did you do?" I didn't answer. I drove home. I put the boxes in a corner. I ordered a pizza. I slept. The group chat exploded in the morning. Caps lock. Paragraphs. Voice notes. You robbed your cousin. You broke into his house. You're sick. LJ posted a story of his empty wall with the caption, L family vibes. A few of his friends reshared it with clown emojis. I didn't respond in the chat. I wrote an email. Subject line: Notice of unauthorized use and demand for payment. I CC'd myself, my cousin, and my aunt. I attached the list, the police report number, the dates. I used words like mitigate and cure and 30 days. I invited them to reply in writing only. My aunt called my mother. My mother called me. Mateo, she said, without a hello, her breath tight. You went too far. He used my card for a vacation, I said. She said, it was an emergency. What part of the Bahamas is the emergency? I asked. The ocean or the buffet? She was quiet long enough I could hear my own heart. Then she tried another door. He's not like you. He doesn't understand. That's the last time I'll accept that excuse, I said. From anyone. She huffed. You used to be so sweet. I'm still kind, I said. I'm just not available. 2 days later, my aunt left me a voicemail in tears. He doesn't even have a TV now, Mateo. How is he supposed to relax? He's so stressed. I didn't call back. I finished assembling my returns for the items that were still sealed. The electronics store took back the monitor with a restocking fee. The soundbar was a no-go. He'd opened it and lost the plastic bag for the screws. Fine. I listed it for sale and told the buyer to bring cash. I set fraud alerts on my credit. I put a freeze on my reports. I changed my bank passwords. I paid the remaining disputed balance in full because I wasn't going to let LJ's emergency become interest I paid for the privilege of being used. It wasn't a moral victory. It was just done. 3 days after the envelope, a DM popped up from someone I didn't know. Profile pic: a girl at a hookah lounge. Message: Hey, not trying to start drama, but your cousin owes me $600 for the Airbnb because he forgot his card. I sent her the same letter with the same 30 days, this time with his account tagged, and a reply all. She left me on read. I screenshotted it and filed it in a folder named Aggressively Documentation. LJ tried the public performance route for a week. He posted a video of himself on a borrowed couch with a caption: When your family stole your TV, but they still watching. His friends put crying laughing emojis in the comments. A couple of them DM'd me with brave one-liners. Oh cousin, you weird. I didn't reply. I went to work. I drank water. I slept. On Friday, someone knocked on my door. It was Tasha, my downstairs neighbor I always say hi to in the laundry room. She held a foil pan. My aunt made too much lasagna, she said. You good? I told her the truth. My cousin used my emergency card for a vacation and a shopping spree. I took back the stuff. I'm getting sued in a group chat. Tasha blinked once, like a cat. Family will invoice your soul and call it love, she said, like she was ordering a coffee. Eat. I did. It tasted like breathing. The following week, my boss pulled me into her office. You've been quieter, she said. And faster. Everything is more crisp. I laughed. I stopped doing unpaid work outside of work, I said. Keep that up, she said, a small smile playing on her lips. 2 months later, she handed me a promotion and a raise that made my mother cry for a different reason. One she didn't put words to, so I didn't ask her to. The family tried a new angle. Pity. He's depressed, Mateo. He can't sleep. He's not eating. I'd seen LJ skip meals to afford a shoe drop. I'd seen him sleep like a saint after lighting a fire in someone else's kitchen. I didn't swallow pity shaped like a leash. He texted me once, just once, after the envelope. No hello. No sorry. Just, you returned the wrong soundbar. The other one was nicer. I typed, file a counterclaim. I deleted it. I typed, read page 3. I deleted that, too. I put the phone face down and went for a walk. On day 31, right on schedule, I filed in small claims. Clean, boring, itemized. I asked for the remaining balance after returns, plus the filing fee. I stapled photos. I printed his Bahamas baby story large enough for strangers to read. I felt ridiculous and steady at the same time. He was served at my aunt's. She called me in the aisle at Costco, shouting loud enough to rattle the vitamins. How dare you embarrass us like this? You embarrassed yourselves? I said. I just used a printer. 2 days after that, my cousin Selena texted me. Off the record, that was iconic. I said, I don't want it to be. She sent back a heart anyway. At the hearing, LJ arrived late. In slides. He brought a friend who looked like a shadow. He tried jokes. The judge didn't laugh. He tried. We're family. The judge said, we're a court. He tried. He broke into my apartment. The super's affidavit on letterhead said otherwise. He tried. Okay. The judge squinted. Okay to what? LJ fell silent, like someone had turned down his volume with a remote. It wasn't dramatic. It was numbers. The judge granted me the amount plus costs. You can both leave, she said, which sounded like a blessing. I set up a wage garnishment because he refused to pay voluntarily. He doesn't have a job, my aunt said. He had a brand partnership. Turns out, even content has payable streams. Slowly, the family group chat changed shape. Not overnight, but the tone shifted. An aunt who'd written, you forgot where you came from, sent a recipe out of the blue. A cousin who'd clown emoji'd my boundary asked for help rewriting her resume. I helped her. Not with money, with track changes. And LJ? He got quieter. He stopped posting for a while. Then he posted thrift store finds he was flipping. Then he posted the gym. Then a selfie in a new apartment with a wall he'd actually painted himself. He still owed me. He sent $50 at 2:07 a.m. one night, with a note, toward the thing. Then $100 2 weeks later, with a prayer hands emoji that annoyed me more than it should have. It was nothing, and not nothing. My mom came over on a Sunday, looked at the stack of boxes I still hadn't returned, and sighed like a balloon surrendering air. I don't like how it went, she said. But I like that you're sleeping. I like it too, I said. She took a container of Eros from my fridge when she left, the way moms steal from their kids' pantry and call it balance. I let her. It felt like the right kind of theft. People talk about closure like a clean door shutting. This felt more like a dimmer, slowly turning up. The room didn't change. I did. One night around midnight, my phone buzzed. A DM request from a guy I didn't recognize. Yo, bro, need a card for an emergency. JK. I blocked him. I brushed my teeth. I turned off the light. He came by 2 months later. No announcement. Just a knock, like a neighbor with a package. When I opened the door, he held up a bag from the bakery on the corner. Don't get excited, he said. It's day old. Those are cheaper, I said. We stood awkwardly in my doorway, like we'd forgotten which roles to play. There was no TV-sized silence to fill. Just a small, human one. I got your letters, he said finally. I get the money thing now. I don't need you to get it, I said. I need you to honor it. He nodded. I'm going to pay the rest. He shifted the bag between hands, like it weighed more than bread. You really left that little camera on the table like I was going to frame you. I left it for me, I said. To remember. He laughed once. Not sharp. You cold, cuz. I'm warm to people who treat me like a person, I said. I'm cold to anyone who treats me like a wallet. He looked at the floor, then